Yo, welcome back to another video. In case you don't already know, I'm making an action roguelike similar to the likes of The Binding of Isaac, Enter the Gungeon and Nuclear Throne. The main jetpack mechanic is used for dodging as well as traversing the terrain. Since the last video, I got working on some new enemies as well as a rework of some old enemies. First off, the Jello Rancher enemy featured on the last devlog has had a big rework. I took some advice from the comments and gave the enemy a hat to distinguish it from the other bandits. I also decided to slow down the Jello projectiles from his attack to make it a bit easier to dodge. This is the first level after all, so I don't want to overwhelm the player with an absurdly hard first level. I also decided to remove his ability to dodge, as this also makes the enemy very challenging, and he's already unique enough with his attack, so I will repurpose this dodge ability for a different enemy in the future. I'm thinking of maybe using it on a mini boss or enemies in the later levels. A previous enemy that I've done a major rework on is the Observer. I redid all the sprite work and animation for it and redesigned its attacks. The Observer, unlike the bandit enemies, lurks around the room, not directly following the player, usually keeping its distance but always having its eye on you. The Observer's main attack is a huge burst of swirling projectiles. Along with this attack, the Observer will also spawn 3 Eyeboid enemies. The Eyeboids will relentlessly seek out the player while charging up a basic projectile attack. They are relatively weak with low health, but more so act as a shield for the observers. There can be up to 6 Eyeboids in the room per observer. Along with these attacks, the observer has the ability to teleport to random positions in the room. I think this makes them very unique enemies, and they're definitely a lot more intimidating now, which is what I wanted. They are supposed to be a bigger, more challenging enemy in the early levels. This enemy's backstory is that they are beings from another dimension sent to keep watch on the creatures of this planet. As for who sent them is a mystery, but evidence on the planet points to a higher power pulling the strings. If you're still watching and enjoy the content, a like on the video always helps out. Be sure to comment any ideas you have on the game. I read all the comments, so I'll definitely see it, and your idea might make it into the game. And you know what? While you're here, you might as well subscribe, because I'm going to be uploading more videos in the future, and you don't want to miss out. I also started work on a new enemy called the Cultist. These guys are bandits that have changed their ways and turned to religion. They worship the Eye beings and praise what they believe is their god. These enemies are unfinished right now, but the plan is to have them stand idle in the room and pray, powering up any of the Eye enemies in the room and giving them a buff. I'll have more to show in these guys next video probably. The next new enemy I worked on is the Bandit Glutton. These greedy goblins have been left alone to engorge on delicious jello slime. Hyped up on too much of the potent goo, the Bandit Glutton carries a glob in both hands at all times. When the opportunity arises, he chows down to heal a small amount and gain a short movement speed boost. The amount they heal is about 10% of their max health. This is low enough that it's not annoying for the player, but if left unchecked, this enemy will heal to full HP. The movement speed buff is pretty drastic. They basically sprint directly to you, and you have to use your jetpack if you want to get away from them. So I've done a bit more work on the story and the world. So the game takes place on this alien planet, with a device known as the Sunder Core, ripping open parallel dimensions and releasing cosmic energy. These events have attracted all kinds of wacky characters and foes to the planet in the hopes of harnessing this otherworldly power. These dimensional rips have also pulled creatures from other realities into this one, causing a wide variety of beings to coexist on the planet. The group of characters you'll play as just happened to stumble upon this forsaken planet by accident, crash landing on the surface. They hope to fix their ship with energy from the planet, However, world-ending events have just been set in motion by their arrival. So I mentioned in previous devlogs that the story is that the group of characters was trying to flee some enemies out in space and they crashed down on this planet. Or back then it was this giant pyramid, but now it's a planet, and things have kind of changed the story a bit. I'm probably going to change it more and more the more I work on the game, so I guess we'll see where it goes. I've done work on other things this week, but I'm not ready to show them off yet. I'm actually really enjoying making enemies right now, but sometimes it's hard to think of what exactly to add to the game. Trying to think of cool, unique abilities and attacks for enemies can be hard, so definitely comment below ideas, they really do help. I think that just about does it for this devlog. I'll see you next time in about 2 weeks, but in the meantime, if you aren't subscribed, I do upload posts on new stuff I've been working on in between devlogs, so feel free to sub. But anyway, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.